everybody! This is my kiddos may call me, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Tatarigoroshi Part 14. Let's just begin. I went home and washed the day's sweat off in the shower. Normally, I could reset everything by taking a shower and forgetting all the bad things. But that didn't happen today. I got out of the shower to find fresh underwear placed neatly in the laundry basket. Normally, I didn't stop to think about it, but today I felt happy at my mother's consideration. At the same time, however, it made me realize how much Satoko must be suffering. At the very moment I was appreciating the gentle kindness, Satoko might be being bruised by her uncle's cruel words. I went up to the second floor and shut myself in my bedroom. Then, facing my desk, I folded my arms. My topic of thought, of course, was Satoko. We thought that if we could just get a public agency to intervene in the right way, the problem would be solved. But with what Coach said, I didn't think it would be so easy. Satoko was obstinate, and she would stubbornly deny the abuse and try to endure it. And that was an act of atonement towards Satoshi, who had protected her before, and then run away. As long as she thought that way, the situation wouldn't be so simple. But earlier, before Coach, I made a clear declaration. If I thought Satoko was in danger, then I would do what I had to. In the end, that meant I was just going to wait and see too. Nevertheless, I thought I'd drawn a clearer line than Coach or my friends had. If the time came, I would report it. Over the phone. Given Satoko's personality, she might criticize me if she found out. But I believed it was ultimately the best decision. Wait, Kichimaibara. Would that really be all it took for the problem to end? Say that I reported to a public agency, like the Child Consultation Center. What if they stuck to their wait-and-see attitude like last year again? Last year, they decided to do just that, and the situation improved temporarily, but then the aunt, think herself a laughingstock, increased her tormenting in secret. That's a weird way of putting it. In the end, things became more underhanded than ever before. This year it was her uncle. I had just seen him for the first time today, but the man seemed much more direct, much more violent than the word underhanded could imply. He wasn't like their aunt, no, not that subtle. He was more direct. He might also assault her with punches and kicks. That could easily be discerned from the bruises I saw on Satoko's body. Shit! You're too naive, Kichimaibara. However Haruka may seem to report what was happening, if it doesn't save her, then it doesn't mean anything. Reporting things to a public agency was the only one option, and leaving everything to them would be dangerous. We would need something more to guarantee Satoko's safety. I scratched madly at my head, thinking, and then tilted back, wanting at least to be a little bit of calm. The memories of angry arguing with my friends today came to mind. I was embarrassed I hadn't realized it until Rena said something. She was right. My house is big. Compared to all the houses with the straw thatched roofs in Himizawa, it was big. We did actually have empty rooms. I've never thought that we were affluent, but also that we were poor. Never that we were poor. I just didn't admit it because people would think I was arrogant. But maybe my family really is wealthy. We had a few rooms we could lend to Satoko. The guest rooms are only in use when people related to my dad's job come and stay every once in a while. Plus, if we cleaned up a few of the rooms my dad uses for storage, they could work for her as well. As for the food expenses, that might have been a more serious problem than a kid like me could imagine. Lunch every day would be manageable. All of our friends would just have to bring a little bit more for lunch than they usually did. With everyone pecking at everyone else's food anyway, it would be manageable. For breakfast and dinner though, that would have been up to Mom. I would need to convince her to lend Satoko more than just a room. Of course, I don't even think convincing her of that would be easy. About how much did it cost for one person to eat? How many tens of thousands of yen per month? They couldn't complain about if I shouldered that, could they? I only had 10 or 20,000 yen in savings, but it was something. I've actually had even more, thanks to New Year's gifts and such, but my parents have taken all of that and put it into a fixed time deposit. If I could get access to that, it should add up to a lot of money. If I got that far, Mion and Rena would need to share some of the burden. Of course, that didn't seem like it would work. Rena got mad at me, didn't she? About how I couldn't just shove responsibility onto others? I had to ask for help. Even so, I'd basically be saving her myself. I would follow through on it. Oh, but it wouldn't be only food expenses. There was a lot of other things that you couldn't do without, like baths and laundry. My mother was obviously methodological and straight about cutting out inefficiencies, and for once, that would be troublesome. She might even make reference to the money it would cost for the detergent Satoko would use for her own clothes. I couldn't think of about food expenses, only about food expenses. I needed more money. Hey, wait, Kechimabara, since when was all this about money? Even if you could afford it, you would need your parents' permission first. They'll be looking after a young girl for a really long time. What would I say to persuade them? Just calm down a little bit, Kechimabara, and you'll realize right away that you can't. Even if you ask them seriously, they will tell you to call the police. Even if you manage to gain their empathy, why should the Maibara family have to shoulder all the burden by itself? That's what would happen. That was it. It was very sad and frustrating, but no matter how much I wanted to help, my resolution alone couldn't save anything. Are kids? Are they really this powerless? I felt frustrated. I believe my feelings were stronger than anyone else's. I even thought they were stronger than coaches. And yet, at that point, there were 2 knocks on my door, and Mom poked her head inside. Were you awake? I've been calling you for dinner for a while. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. As someone financially depending on his parents, I shouldn't say this, but I just sat around doing nothing and food suddenly appeared. It felt so natural to me that I shamelessly thought of it as a responsibility of the parents who gave birth to me. But when I realized that the natural thing was actually a privilege, I came to realize just how hard it was to grant that privilege to others. Even the boring meal in front of me, no better than it ever was, had more meaning than that tonight. There was food for 3 on the table right now, for Dad, for Mom, and for me. I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to add another place at the table. Think, Keiichi. If it was hard to make food for 4, then just think about how 4 people could eat made for 3. Eat food made for 3. Oh. I changed around the way I thought, and with that I began to consider an unthinkably bold plan. That's right. I didn't need to get my parents' permission. She should just live here in secret. I gotta say what I found out a while ago, but if you remember right, if you climbed out the window and shimmy down the first floor roof or the gutter, you can go in and out of the house directly from my room. Satoko's physical ability far surpassed my own, so it would be even easier for her. I hadn't even thought about it, but her living here secretly was actually a necessity. That's a terrible idea. I only had to bring Satoko to my house when the public agency said they would wait and see. In other words, if Satoko's uncle considered to be her guardian. If, in such a situation, word got out that she was here, her uncle would barge in and drag Satoko back with him. Her uncle was her rightful guardian, so my parents would hand her over without an argument, no doubt. So I needed to keep it a secret that she was living here. If it needs to be a secret, then having my parents help would mean a lot, but you gotta deceive your allies first, like they always say. Terrible idea, Keiichi. Terrible idea. Like, yeah, he's being very desperate right now, but it's kind of a terrible idea. Okay. Persuading my parents was an unrealistic proposition, so I was searching for a way to have her live here in secret. When I was around, she would just have to be really quiet in my room on the 2nd floor. The issue was the daytime. If she was hiding from her uncle, then she shouldn't go to school. It might be lonely, but not going would be the better option. I could easily teach Satoko the stuff she learns in her grade. Actually, during school, I mostly help all the younger kids out rather than studying my own stuff. During the day, I would need to go to school, so I wouldn't be at home. My parents respected my privacy now that I was this age, so they wouldn't go swooping around in my room while I was gone. I think. If she holed herself up in my room, it would be okay, right? My parents did come. Thanks to where the 2nd floor was, she could hear their approach from the sound of them coming up the stairs. And there would be a little bit of time before they got all the way up. I estimated a few seconds that she would be able to hide herself in the closet. Why if they check the closet? Wait, Keiichi. Something doesn't make sense. If she can't go to school, then what she'll do for lunch? Calm down already. I could just leave her in my own lunch, couldn't I? I could just go to school without lunch and get everyone else to split theirs with me. Okay, that's good. No more contradictions or oversights, right? Oh, breakfast and dinner. I could somehow get her to go without breakfast. I could go with 2 meals a day when I sleep in on Sundays after all. Every night I'll pretend as though I got a bigger appetite, then ask for a bigger helping. And then I could just somehow give a part of that to Satoko. As a test, I stood up from my seat with my plate of fish in my hands. What's wrong, Keiichi? Sit down and eat your food. Well, I'm kind of not in a good mood. Could I eat up in my room? You'll make a mess. Eat dinner at the dinner table. Sorry. Hey, wait. I only tried to take away one plate of fish and they ganged up on me? In reality, it was impossible for me to smuggle food away without my parents knowing about it. But it must have been worth taking the time to think about. There must be some trick, some method to avoid them realizing. Even if I can't think of one today, I might think of one tomorrow. My appetite was rapidly fading, so I finished early and went back up to my room. I went back there and tried to think about it from Satoko's point of view. For example, let's say my parents were coming up the stairs right now and I gotta hide. I opened up the closet. Clatter. It didn't open quietly. Hey, wait! Didn't it always open real smooth and quiet? Why was it suddenly doing this now? What is this? A faulty house? Had it already gotten old or something? Or was I just not putting enough work into it? Could I just plaster it with wax? The sound of it might have been soft, but it left me uneasy as to whether my parents would detect it happening when they climbed up the stairs. But this was an easy problem. I could do something about it. I just had to fix it up a little bit so it didn't make any noise anymore. For now, I'll close myself in the closet as though I successfully hid. Well, you're much bigger than Satoko. I basically always left my food out on the floor. I couldn't think of any real reason my parents would want to go inside my closet. Even so, there might be some reason they would. I needed to construct some sort of camouflage so that she wouldn't be noticed even if they did open it. But the more she worried about it, the less time she'd actually have to hide, meaning that it would be more likely they would hear a noise. And then, I suddenly had to go to the bathroom. The bathroom? The need to use a toilet. So obvious and such a fatal flaw. The only bathroom was on the first floor. It would be absolutely impossible for me to use it without my family realizing. I may need to set up a portable toilet, like a chamber pot, I guess. Oh my god, just set up a kitchen pot in the middle of your room. Ugh. Satoko would hate it, so she could go in my room. But stench would be pretty terrible. Anyone sensitive will probably notice the smell even without coming in the room. The bathroom was okay though. She could just take a bath when my parents were out. But I couldn't do anything about a toilet. When her stomach started to hurt, if my parents were lazing around downstairs, she would be in trouble. It was then that I noticed that I'd been clawing at my head with both hands. I sat down in a dark closet with my knees against my chest. I buried my face in them and tore at my hair. The more I thought, the more contradictions popped up. The more I thought, the more things failed. And the more I worried, the more I was reminded of how little power I actually had. My back started to hurt from staying in such a cramped place for so long. But if I was to shelter Satoko, I would need to force her to feel this pain. To live in such a dark, narrow, suffocating place forever. But it would still be better than being abused by her uncle, or so I wanted to think. It got hard to breathe, so I caved in and crawled out of the closet. I looked at the clock, and to my surprise, it was 3:30 in the morning. Jeez, that was a long time in the closet. It felt like so little time, but it was so unbelievably long. When I realized that, I was slain with a terrible urge to sleep, as if the time had only caught up with me. I didn't have enough strength to fight it, and I fell right onto my futon. Flat onto my futon. Shit! I can't just go to sleep like this. If I waste any time, that would mean I'm taking the same wait-and-see attitude that Mion and Coach and everyone else did. I needed to keep worrying about how to rescue Satoko for a minute, or even a second longer than anyone else. Isn't there a better way? Isn't there a better way? That one phrase I spoke to myself swirled around in a spiral and suddenly took over my entire mind. For my last moment of consciousness, I thought, there was a lot of blind spots in what I considered tonight, but I absolutely wasn't wrong for having those ideas. Tomorrow, I would suggest the bold plan to the others. Bien might be able to help somehow, and Rena was really sharp, so she might have a good suggestion. And above all, we need to rescue Satoko once again, with everyone helping out. I felt pathetic for letting myself fall asleep. I'm sorry, Satoko. I don't think the others are gonna like this plan, Keiichi. They're not gonna like it. The ceiling blurred into view. It was hot. There was a thin layer of moist sweat on me. The voices of the cicadas, tormented in my room, were somehow graying to my head. What? Today's not Sunday, is it? I remember today was a weekday, and quickly brought myself into consciousness. And then finally, I leaped out of bed. The clock read a little before 10. I was totally late. When I wandered downstairs, my mom would get mad at me. There was nothing I could do, though. After reviewing the schedule for school for the moment, I suitably rearranged myself in my bag. I hurried and got dressed, then went down the stairs. There was no sign of my parents anywhere. Maybe they went out somewhere together. So that's how it was. My mother had probably woken me up once this morning, but then I fell back asleep without remembering it. And my parents, thinking I got to school, left. Something like that probably happened. I went to the front door, and as I expected, it was locked. Looked like I was right. It was further evidence of my speculation being correct. When I realized my parents weren't here, I suddenly felt less I had a rush to get to school. There was one portion of breakfast left in the dining room. Probably mine. Milk they poured in it has gone warm since a while ago. When I realized how hard it would be to sneak food for Satoko. Yesterday I cried. Well, thinking back on it, food wasn't the only issue in that regard. I was in a position where I could bargain for Satoko by myself anyway. It's such a heavy thing to save a single person. I've seen this on TV and in comics all the time. Those feel-good words about how you save your friends for sure and such. Was that why I ran in my mouth like that, swearing to save her because I wanted to feel good about it? No, that absolutely wasn't true. Because the fact that I couldn't save her. Because I didn't want to think like an adult, like I could do anything but watch. Couldn't do anything but watch. Has Satoko gone to school today? I immediately realized that was a meaningless question. Whether or not she did, there would be a change in the environment she had been placed in. If I couldn't save her, and no one else could either, then we could only pray for a miracle. Are we so powerless? With a vague goal of getting to school in mind, I successfully put on my shoes and stambled out the front door. I had only overslept by 2 or 3 hours, but the sunlight and air felt completely different from how they usually were in the morning. Well, of course it did. Once 10 o'clock came around, you could barely call it morning anymore. I didn't feel like walking the same old route to school. I needed all to be end up there, but it was like I didn't want to choose the shortest route, the most proactive one to get to school. Put it in a more positive light, maybe I wanted some time to walk by myself and think. I had to go to school. Partly to make sure Satoko was safe. But I hadn't come up with any plans yet. Nothing since last night. So the path I took from my house was in the complete opposite direction. If I went this way, I'll pass Renna's house and the dam site. It will be quite a detour. I calculated how long of a detour it would end up being, then satisfied with the answer, I started to walk. Skipping school. I never did that. I don't know why, but I never skipped school when I was in school. Renna had brought me to this dam site a few times. One section had turned into an unlawful oversized garbage dump, and Renna really liked going fishing for junk in there, like in Okinakuchi Part 1. Without that, she'd come off as a completely normal girl, too. I can think of a few other qualities she could do without. Whatever. Why are you thinking about that, Kyuchi? The view quickly opened up wide, and I was hit by a strong wind. There was no shelter here at this big dam site. It was a good thing I came here, I thought. At the very least, it was more healthy to think about stuff in a place like this instead of my cramped bedroom. I took a deep breath and filled my lungs with the rich, cold air unique to Himizawa. Ring, ring. I turned around reflexively. It was a bicycle bell. Considering where I was standing, I don't think they were trying to get me out of the way. They rang the bell because they wanted something from me. Hey! It's Tamatake! Hey, excuse me. You're from Himizawa, right? Yes, why? I've seen this person around a few times. Right, I remembered. His name, I think, was Tomatake, a freelance photographer who lived in Tokyo. He would zealously visit Himizawa every season and take pictures, or so Mion and the others told me, I think. Could you tell me how to get to Furune's Shrine from here? I think I left my map in the inn, and I don't know where to go. The shrine? From here? I knew where everything was in my head, but explaining how to get there was difficult. I was a little irritated about having been bothered for this, but then I realized it meant my detour actually meant something. That feeling went away quickly. That feeling faded quickly. I'll tell you, but it's a little difficult to explain. I could bring you there if you don't mind. Really? I'll be in your tap. Thanks a lot. But, are you sure? Do you have something to do? Did you have something to do? Tomotaki-san finally appeared to have realized how strange it was for a student like me to be here at this time of day. I smoothly told him not to worry about it, then turned my back and started walking towards the Furune Shrine. Tomotaki-san hurried to turn his bike around and came after me. Sorry. Don't worry. All guys have times when they need to split up from the pack and be lone wolves for a while. What a free-minded freelancer. It was easier for me, too, that he was under that impression. I'm Tomotake, a freelance photographer. I specialize in wild birds and landscapes. I'm still pretty unknown, though. It seemed absurd for him to introduce himself when I was just showing him to the shrine, but he gave me his name, so I needed to give him mine back. I'm Bambara. Pleased to meet you, I guess. My Barakun? Pleased to meet you. He seemed like a pretty silly man, but that felt kind of good considering I've been suffocating with worry over Satoko all night. Wow, I'm stumbling over words, I'm sorry. Along the way, Tomotaki-san spoke at length to me about how precious that nature in Himizawa was, and how it was a treasure trove of wild rare birds. Wow, wild rare birds. I switched around the words. Despite my not having asked. I wasn't interested in what he had to say, but he seemed to be enjoying himself, so I left him to it. He says he'll take you up to the shrine grounds. Thank you. You really helped me out. I think I'm a little late. As Tomotaki-san mumbled to himself, he left his bicycle nearby and started to climb up the stairs quickly. I didn't have a watch, but as my internal clock would guess, it was a little late in the morning. School wasn't very far from here. Maybe I could kill a little more time until then. With that in mind, I went up to the steps in pursuit of Tomotaki-san. When I reached the top of the long staircase, I arrived at the wide open shrine grounds that were too grand looking for this tiny village. Tomotaki-san, oh, there he is. It looked like he was supposed to be meeting someone here. Then he got lost and ended up being late. He was bowing to a lady who must have been the person he was meeting. That lady, I knew her. Oh, is that you, my Barakun? Hello there. Are you off from school today? What? Oh, my Barakun, you followed me? I really wasn't planning to. I just wanted to kill some time. Oh my. Arriving at work late like an executive. How refined. You certainly are famous, taking the time to look like a big shot. What was I? A celebrity? Well, she did say my name out of nowhere anyway. I was concerned about what she meant by famous. Famous. Oh, you still can't remember my name? This is Mio Takano-san. She works at the village clinic. My Barakun, you seem healthy, so you probably haven't been to the hospital much, have you? Now that we're finally acquaintances, the next time you're sick or anything, I suppose I'll give you a little bit of special treatment. This lady named Takano-san, I kinda didn't remember her. Maybe we passed each other on the street a few times, but I was pretty sure this was the first time we talked. Well, this is Himizawa. Even if I didn't know a person's name, it's not unusual for them to know mine. I glanced at Takano-san and saw that she had a bag and camera. Are you photography partners? Was that why you were meeting each other? Oh, we're nothing like partners. I'm but an amateur, and Jiro-san is gently initiating me into it. Right? That's not at all. Takano-san's a quick learner. She can take pictures just fine without my guidance. I mean it. I couldn't tell which of them was ahead in the conversation. Well, there was certainly one couple you wouldn't get tired of watching. The festival is coming up the day after tomorrow. I hope I can take some good pictures this year. I plan to take it up... Wait, I don't know which one's talking, so I'm just going to talk my normal voice. I plan on taking some shots of the setup tomorrow. I wanted to capture the festival energy shown by the preparations for it too. Oh, I just remembered. There is some village festival called Tatarigoroshi or something the day after tomorrow, on Sunday. They hold service a pile of old futons in order to give thanks to Himizawa's guardian deity, Oyashiro-sama, I think? Oh, you're correct. You have quite extensive knowledge despite having just moved here. Yes, it is a festival to give thanks to Oyashiro-sama. Takano-san smiled somehow meaningfully, but that didn't tell me what part of the festival to think Oyashiro-sama needed to be laughed at. Cryptic as ever, Takano-san. But I do wonder what will happen this year. You know what they say, if it happens twice, it would happen a third time. And it's already happened 4 times. I think there's less evidence that it won't happen a 5th time, don't you think? I know what they meant by their whispered exchange. On the day of Tatarigoroshi, a freak death always occurs, which people call Oyashiro-sama's curse, and a disappearance that occurs people will call being demoned away. These strange events that happened 4 years running, and the Tatarigoroshi rapidly approaching the day after tomorrow mark the 5th. Did my camera die? No, I don't think it died. Oyashiro-sama puts a curse on the enemies of the village, eh? If it does happen this year, I wonder, who will find themselves at gunpoint? Oh, and I always come here to pray and donate money whenever I visit. So it won't be me for sure. It won't be me for sure. Oh, is that so? They said that Oyashiro-sama has especially been harsh on outsiders recently, you know? My Barakume only just moved in, but he's a probably member of Himizawa. But you, Jiro-san, are a stranger who only comes once a year. I wonder, will he let you go this year? That's harsh! Tomotaki-san was the one with a praying grin, but we were all smiling, me included. Oyashiro-sama, the one who used the curse to kill people involved with the damn construction project, one after the next. He killed the damn construction manager, killed Sadako's parents for supporting it, and the next year, he even killed her aunt. If demoning away was part of that curse, then he could add Satoshi to the list of victims. As I thought about it, I realized that in the serial freak deaths incidents, the overwhelming majority had the last name Hojo. Half the deaths and disappearances have come from the Hojo family. The Hojo family lived here in Himizawa. Did that mean Oyashiro-sama punished and cursed them particularly harshly because despite that, they had been favored of the damned? Have you heard of the news that Satoko's uncle has returned? Takano-san, who had been enjoying a few words with Tomotaki-san, was caught unawares by my sudden inquiry. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Satoko's parents were killed by the curse, and her aunt too. So I was wondering if, maybe if you went in that order, her uncle would be next. Her aunt had a miserable death from the curse last year, and her uncle let his fear take over and fled into town, right? Oyashiro-sama doesn't allow people to try to abandon the village, does he? I didn't intend to be quite this persistent. But those words, they just floated out of my mouth without me thinking about it. Right. Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't believe in something so unrealistic, of course, but the fact was that every year, unfortunate accidents and incidents happened to the enemies of the village. Like Takano said just now, it had happened 4 times. No one could say there couldn't be a 5th. Wouldn't be a 5th. That's an interesting suggestion. It is true that if you look at those who sacrificed in previous years, those named Hojo come up quite frequently. Given how long it's gone for, her uncle being the one to die or disappear this year is now the question. I'm gonna say this now. Takano is still a creepy-ass character. She is one of the more creepy characters in this story. And she's barely done anything! Not again, Takano-san. Don't laugh about it. It really could happen. I'm sorry. But Oyashiro-sama's curse is my life's work. Takano-san gave off a mysterious, somehow intellectual expression, and her life's work was mysterious in its own right. She probably really liked inexplainable supernatural phenomenon or something. Takano-san, you seem like you know a lot about Oyashiro-sama. Give me your honest thoughts. Given that he's a Hojo and that he's returned, what are the chances that the uncle will fall to the curse? My what? You seem like you really want this uncle of hers dead. She's laughing! That's not... I wonder. It all depends on the whims of a god. My Barakun, do you know the true identity of Santa Claus? Huh? I got a strange question all of a sudden, and I couldn't immediately answer. What? You don't know? It's... No! No, wait, what? No, wait! Younger kids watching, get out here quickly! Don't read! No, Santa's real! Santa was real, kids! Don't read this! It's your daddy. The daddy's in everyone's family. Why did they have to describe it as the daddy? Daddy. Oh, that word's been ruined for me forever. What? That's what you meant? Well, of course. Everything ultimately comes down to humans in the end. After all, humans are the only ones living in the world. Other than animals. Most reasons could be expendable in terms of human actions. I felt like I put that somewhat strangely, but Takano-san was not dissatisfied with that reply, as I might have guessed. Oh, it's impressive that you caught on to that at such a young age. You're right. Strange things that happen in the world of man are all caused by the man for his own benefit. Abarakun, I'll ask you again then. This time, not Santa Claus, but Oyashiro-sama. Do you know anything about who Oyashiro-sama is? Takano-san took a step towards me and gazed in my eyes as she talked. Santa Claus was really the parents of every family's children. If lionizing that legend was a corporate tactic trying to profit off of Christmas sales, then what was Oyashiro-sama really? Oh, didn't you already say? There are only humans in this world. Everything can be explained by human actions, right? My Barakun, keep this to yourself, okay? The string of freak death incidents are attributed to Oyashiro-sama's curse. Takano-san's view is that it may be premeditated homicides performed by some of the people he Mizawa based on some kind of ceremony. No, don't misunderstand me. My life's work is to research teachings, thoughts, and cultures from the viewpoint of folklorism. I don't really care at all about who the culprit really is. Just keep that in mind, please. I could tell, at least, that she was saying some crazy stuff. If I were to liken her statements to a meal, then it was sort of like she just tried to stuff a whole plate of duck into my mouth and I just couldn't say anything. To understand that in the first place, you have to go all the way back to ancient times, when he was always called Okadafuchi, or the Demon's Abyss. The transcendents who lived here believed themselves to carry the blood of demons, and were only half human. Takano-san, having entered her home field, leaned forward and began to speak of ridiculous matters. Tomodachi-san realized she was overawing me and interrupted for me. Takano-san, you can't just chatter on about that stuff to my Barakun. Look, he's really confused. Oh my, are you? If you want to hear more, ask me anytime. I have heaps of grotesque stories about that boys your age seem to love hearing. Thank you. If I feel like it, I will. For now, I softly and safely gave my refusal. Takano-san seemed a little unhappy that Tomodachi-san had rained on her parade, but she stopped talking about it then. Even so, it was still a very interesting story. That Oyashiro-sama's curse, which we thought of as strange, freak deaths, were really homicides. You ruined the mood. Why? You ruined the mood. That Oyashiro-sama's curse, which we thought was as strange, freak deaths, were really homicides, perpetrated by the people of this village. Well, I mean, if you thought about it logically, it would have to be. People wouldn't be dying because of a curse. Someone's obviously killing people and making it look like one. Indeed. As for one who that is, it might be safer not to try and find out. You seem like you know, Takano-san. You may not have proof, but you seem like you believe it. Oh my. Why did you think that? Do you think that? I just kind of felt it vaguely. It didn't seem like her extreme passion for this research could be explained just by these things being taboo or being safe and easy. This person, walking through the profound, forbidden abyss of risk and taboos. Let's leave it at that, my Maru-kun. I just helped you escape, and now you're trying to talk about Oyashiro-sama again? I wanted to take a nice walk while it was still cool. Tomotaki-san seemed a little disappointed not to be able to go on the date he had planned since I brought up a weird topic. But right now, there was something I wanted to ask, just for a little bit. And that was about whether Satoko's uncle will be chosen for the curse this year. If he was, then another miracle would happen, just like last year. A terrible incident would happen again, but it would release Satoko from unfortunate circumstances once more. Well, I do have a few suspicions as to the kind of people who will probably become involved, of course. It's a natural, inevitable conclusion for anyone who's researched this history of Ongenfuchi village. Who? Who do you mean? What would I do if I knew? I asked that question to the other maid deep inside, but got no reply. How enthusiastic. What would you do if you knew? Nothing, really. If you found out, you might go into danger yourself, you know. Maybe the 5th year's curse would be you. Takano-san, toying with taboo, gave a devilish, satisfied smile, as though nothing in the world would be more amusing. She was probably trying to tease me, but I didn't feel like going along with her little game on one bit. You seem to talk pretty big, but you don't really know yourself, do you, Takano-san? I felt a little tinge of irritation at Takano-san's roundabout way of speaking. But those emotions escaped my mouth, like a water flowing through a strainer. Even I was surprised about how directly I spoken about how I felt. What I felt. Of course, I was the only one taking it back. Oh my. You're something. You may be just a boy, but you can still provoke people. How unexpectedly rugged. I don't dislike people like that, you know. Takano-san's tongue poked out of her mouth, and I was convinced that it was a long, thin split. And I was convinced that it was long, thin, and split in the middle like a snake. So that's some foreshadowing there. Alright. I'll tell you then. But you have to promise me 3 things first. 1, not to forget it, no matter what I tell you. 2, not to tell it to anyone. 3, not to tell anyone I told you. I gulped firmly and nodded. Tomotaki-san made an exaggerated expression of distress, gave a dry smile, and lit a cigarette. Oh, Tomotaki's a smoker? I didn't know that. Please tell me, who's putting this curse on people? Who is it? Who's deciding who gets cursed? And after I said that, I finally realized why I wanted to know. It was Satoko's uncle Dad. Oh boy, this arc, I already know what happens in this arc, but reading it out loud, oh my gosh. Oh man, I could really tell that it's gonna get intense. Alright, I'm gonna end this episode right here, but dang, this chapter is probably one of my more favorite chapters, just because of some of the things that happen. But I'm gonna save that for next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll be filming more Higurashi in the future, more frequently, so that I can actually get through to Tatarigoroshi. Plus, I missed the month of June, where the story takes place. I did no videos but one in the month of June, so I'm gonna be filming more Higurashi episodes in the meantime, as an apology for that. And also, I need to film more Higurashi in general, since it's been a monthly series. I kinda just wanted, you know, just make it more weekly, maybe bi-weekly again. Well, not bi-weekly, I meant by every 2 weeks I might have to do Higurashi, I'm not for sure. That'll just be decided next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you all